Start. Alright, welcome back to Miitopia. Last time, we got close to finishing the game. This time, we are probably going to finish the game, I don't know. Today.
Probably not.
Mate, you don't ever.
We were delayed by like...
We skipped a week.
30 minutes?
Yes. I skipped the entire week because I was tired. That's bullshit.
So I guess we'll start with movies first, because that way we have more shit to talk about later.
Well, yeah, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Some stuff we'll talk about more than others. More in depth, and some stuff we'll say in depth. So, I have not seen any movies since.
I have watched 2 movies. You want to know what they were?
Nope.
That was one of them.
I thought about seeing that, but I got lazy.
The other one I watched was Elvis. Gotta say, I recommend both of them.
And DC League of Superpets came out.
That's a thing.
I
will actively talk about that last.
I'm glad about that on the basis that they're not going to play any more trailers before any other movies. Alright.
They're not going to play the trailer anymore?
Yeah.
Too bad. Movies that are playing still get trailers on. But I mean, like, sometimes, like, I've seen the Top Gun trailer play while Top Gun had been playing for about a month at that point.
Jeez.
Yeah. So let me explain the let's go with Elvis. It's been around the longest.
Yeah.
So Elvis is a biopic on, well,
Elvis Presley.
Yeah, the king. And I gotta say, it did a real good job of being an actual, like, movie. Mostly because it did the smart decision. Instead of like focusing on all the shit we already kind of knew about.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it focused on a specific major aspect of Elvis's life that not a lot of people did know about. And that's how terribly he was being screwed over by the record industry and his management.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna attempt that enemy anymore. It's just. Anyway, go on.
When I say screwed over, I mean literally. You know how people talk about like how Elvis like had a good run as a musician and then he like lost his way and ended up being a cheesy Vegas singer for like fucking 5 years or so.
Yeah.
Well, technically more than that. Yeah, that was because of his manager.
Yeah.
Who was an asshole of like the highest degree.
Look, these people seem familiar.
Yeah. Basically a con man in every way, shape, or form. And oh yeah, like fucking gaslit and manipulated him at just about every turn. So much so that
that's more so pink than red.
So much so that like thanks to like the specific way that the manager did things, he like even after he got fired, he was basically able to like say, "You owe me this much money," like it's fucking $8 million.
Jeez.
Like even after he'd already screwed him over by taking like a good majority of what he was actually meant to be making, right?
Yeah.
And even after, like basically forced himself back into being hired after like I was fired him because he realized that like he was never gonna like pull through with like what Elvis actually wanted to do at the time, and that was to go on a world tour.
Yeah.
Which is why Elvis never actually did any touring outside of the United States. Hey, you leave now until alone, Deadpool.
That was the last
asshole.
Anyways,
but like, the movie did like something that like I'd say probably like is a really good like showing of how effective it was, and that is it made me want to fucking strangle Colonel Tom Parker.
Jeez.
And I'm not even the only one who wanted to hurt him harsh.
That's a bit harsh, but okay.
Man ruined Elvis's life. Yeah. So much so that if it weren't for the hectic touring schedule that he forced Elvis to be in, along with forcing him to consistently perform even when exhausted, he probably wouldn't have abused drugs the way he did, which led to him having that heart attack, which led to him dying.
Yeah.
So quite literally, he's the direct causation for his death. And Elvis had 42. He did not die like an old man.
All right.
Yeah. So when he talks about how people claim that I'm responsible for Elvis's death, and he's telling how no, it wasn't me. And you want to know who he really is to be the true cause of his death?
What?
Love. The love for you, his fans, motherfucker, it was you! I wanted to punch him so much in the balls just for that comment.
Yeah.
Also, he's the reason why Elvis basically didn't go out of his way. Anytime Elvis would backtrack on his image for who he was, there was this moment it was shown that the TV show forced him to basically perform the song Hound Dog next to a dog, and everyone treated it what it was. It was one giant joke. To basically say that because they were deliberately going after him because as the news was pointing out, he was doing a lot of black moves.
Yeah.
As in the fact that he was using this black influence on him to do everything kind of went against segregation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all around, it was a case of just fucked everything.
Yeah.
So the best way to view this movie is a cautionary tale as to why you should never trust the record industry. And there was an actual quote in that movie that I don't know if B.B. King ever said this in real life, but this is a quote that you should definitely take with you from either this rant or actually watching the movie. If you don't play the industry will play you. And yeah, that's about as accurate as it can get with the record industry.
Yeah. Woo.
I'm honestly surprised you managed to not have everyone die we've usually been doing for the last couple of fights.
What do you mean I just faced a fucking gold Snurf that gives a lot of money and I can't even beat it.
Both times we've left this game, it had been times when we party wiped.
Yeah.
The last two times we were here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna finish this today. What else you want to say before I get on the news?
I was gonna talk about Nope.
Oh, I want to see that.
Oh, do you not want me to spoil anything?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just give a quick, not summary, but recommendation. Jordan Peele is a magnificent director, and Nope is a ridiculously good film. If you can understand what the fuck is going on. By that I mean, there are some of the most brain-dead takes I've ever seen on the internet about this movie. And if you don't understand what happened and why things were happening the way they did, I gotta tell you, you're on the same intellectual headspace as Logan fucking Paul, who called it one of the worst movies he's ever seen.
Hey.
So yeah, take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And now to talk about DC's League of Superpets. My God, do I not care for this movie. I've not watched it, I've walked in on it, and all I could say is, first of all, what kind of hack writing is it that the idea that a dog would ever get mad at the his owner for for not only having a girlfriend but seemingly wanting to marry a woman? Most dogs relish the idea of having more family members because dogs kind of love the attention they get from people.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit writing. And it's honestly kind of annoying that were still on this like headspace of like, oh, like best friends have to fucking hate their best friends like partners and shit. So yeah, that's annoying. But more importantly, this movie not only looks awful, like just
animation-wise,
yeah,
it looks like a directed-DVD movie.
Like I've seen people compare Lex Luthor to the Boss Baby, and I can't say they're entirely wrong. But like design-wise, it's not very great.
Yeah.
And every time I look at this film, all I can think is, man, if I wanted to watch a movie, or like not a movie, but like an animation related to Crypto the Superdog, I just go rewatch that old Crypto the Superdog show that I grew up watching as a kid. Because there was a show. I bring up the song because like I still kind of have it in my head.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't watched that in ages, but I can't because let's be honest, your copyrights would actually like attack us for that one.
I like how this food's called Hell Dog.
Yeah. Mild
profanity in a kid's game.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But like,
that's why this game is a mild languages rating on the ESRB rating.
Then there's the fact that this movie makes no sense to make.
It's marketable.
No, it's like from a DC comic standpoint, it makes no sense to make.
Well, dogs are marketable. Kids love dogs.
Specifically, like, how many DC heroes actually have pets?
I don't know.
Like 2.
2. I was gonna say.
Maybe 3 if you count the Wonder Twins, but like considering how the comics handled those motherfuckers, not a good look.
Yeah.
They were killed by that dog.
That pull to the left.
But like specifically, there's Crypto the Superdog, obviously.
Yeah.
And there's Ace the Bat Hound, along with things like the fucking Bathound stuff like that Batman owns because like Damian Wayne Robin loves animals.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of like pets that they have.
I just want to sleep.
But like outside like some very rare instances, Ace really isn't an actual like partner for Batman. He kind of just hangs out at the house.
If there's one thing I do think that's funny about the movie is that Batman's voiced by Keanu Reeves. I will say that. Yeah.
Crypto actually is a super dog, but the issue with Crypto is that he doesn't really do much. Like how many comics does he actually do anything?
I don't know.
Oh, sometimes I'm not even sure that he exists half the time.
He exists. All the DC League of Superpets fans are going to be going after us.
And also, like, why the fuck should I care about any of the other original characters in this film?
I don't know.
Like, there's a good reason the marketing only focuses on Crypto and Ace.
Yeah.
Yeah, and more to be damning than anything else, this just doesn't feel like a DC idea.
It looks stupid. It looks terrible.
By that I mean, this is a Marvel idea.
Oh.
Specifically, this is very obviously DC's trying to make a take on the Pet Avengers, a thing that actually happened in comic.
Huh.
So much so that the most famous Pet Avenger was Throg, a frog that had Thor's hammer, or well, a shard of it, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Which is why they made that joke in the trailer, like, why can't I get a magic hammer? And that's because these hacks knew for a fact that they were basically just taking the Pet Avengers idea. And, like, not doing it the way that the comics did it. Granted, the way that the comics did it was also fucking weird, and honestly, there's a reason why Marvel did not, like, implement that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah. This is DC just bidding on like Marvel's thing.
Yeah, as usual. Wow.
In the movies, anyways.
Yeah. I would have called bullshit if it didn't land on the yellow. Anyway, is that enough movie talk? I'll put it in blue.
I think I don't... There wasn't any other movies. I haven't watched anything else.
Anyway, time for news.
Weren't you going to talk about Marvel?
We'll do that as part of chronological news recap.
Fair enough.
Alright, so since we skipped a week because I was feeling tired and wanted to rest, we have an extra week of news to discuss. So first we'll start with the gaming news. Some stuff we'll talk more in depth about, some stuff we'll just skip over. Okay, first things first, Ghost of Tsushima has almost sold 10 million copies.
Good on it, I guess?
Okay. CD Projekt stock value has dropped by 75% since Cyberpunk launched.
That's hilarious.
Which really says a lot.
Wonder whatever happened to the team that did Witcher.
They're porting it to next gen.
Is that like why it fucking had nothing going on?
Yeah.
Like, The Witcher had like a bunch of politicians and shit. Like, it was very popular. How the fuck did they fuck this up?
I don't know.
The benefit of having a bunch of like really unique looking characters in this one, am I right?
Yeah. FIFA 23 is officially confirmed, and it's going to be coming to the Switch as a legacy edition again. How fun. But who cares?
Mm-hmm.
A game called Stray came out, where you play as a cat. A lot of people really like it for some reason. Yakuza 8 has been showcased in a pre-reveal image.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wait, who's the main character for that one?
See. In the image, there's a look at protagonist Ichiban Kazuta.
Oh, so they're continuing with the protagonist of 7.
Yeah. It is drizzling outside. Maybe I should close that door.
Probably should. It's a good thing I turned off the AC one before I left.
Yeah. $152 damage. Ooh. Wait a sec. Oh yeah, Pop Stars can instantly cure a quarrel. That's a very useful skill. This lay into the game. Tekken is getting a Netflix TV show.
Didn't we talk about that one last time?
Yeah, but it got release date of August.
Huh. With this year?
Yeah.
That's a bad sign.
The new Saints Row game has gone gold. It'll probably suck.
Has there been a good Saints Row game since the third one?
4 was alright.
Fair enough.
Someone talking?
Yeah, I heard Lily.
Yeah. What else? A pre-order bonus from Infamous Second Son is now free for all players.
Huh.
Isn't that game like 8 years old?
Yeah.
What? Last of Us Part 1 leaked footage reports that the upcoming remake has no gameplay improvements.
I've heard people rant about that.
Yeah, it's stupid.
No, because they did change like a few things.
Yeah.
Specifically, they've tried changing like certain things to match up with the plot of The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
More specifically, like models to make the ending of the original one more ambiguous and shit. Which people are not happy about because no one fucking likes The Last of Us Part 2.
Not even upgraded combat or anything. It's the same game.
Yeah. People view it as a waste of money and probably gonna cost $70.
Yeah, it is gonna cost $70. And they've insisted it's not a cash grab.
It is. Just don't buy it.
Yeah. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection from Konami has been dated for August.
Nice.
A Ghost Recon game has been cancelled by Ubisoft alongside 2 other unannounced games.
They can cancel those?
Yeah.
How about Ubisoft need to like make sure that a new game from that franchise always has to come out like every other year?
Well, they gave up. The last one was 2019, I think. The Avatar game they're working on.
That's the longest amount of time I've seen Ubisoft go with an IP that they aren't actively working on and like just not release anything.
Splinter Cell. Rayman.
Fair enough.
Their upcoming Avatar game, based on the movie, not the TV show, has been delayed.
So worthless.
Has been delayed until 2023 as well. Let's see. So. What else? Multiverses is adding LeBron James and Rick and Morty as fighters. LeBron James was added when the open beta came out, and I find it absolutely funny.
I want Rick and like if there's a new season of Rick and Morty, for Rick to acknowledge that multiverse is a thing, just for the shits and giggles.
They've also stated
I wouldn't watch the show anymore because I stopped watching that show ages ago. But it'd be funny.
They actually dated the next season for September, and they said season 5 wasn't that good.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
But he was like, "Don't worry, season 6 will be amazing."
I doubt it.
So Rick and Morty are in. They'll be arriving on August 9th. They'll be the first reps from Adult Swim in the game.
Put in the Venture Brothers, you cowards!
Maybe.
It doesn't even have to be Hank and Dean. Just like throw in any Venture Brother character.
Huh.
If I could have Brock Sampson in there, it'd be fun.
All right.
Or the Monarch.
Who else should they throw in? Warner Brothers. Alright. I don't know. Throw in Daffy Duck, damn it.
Why the fuck are these called Orochi?
I don't know.
Orochi's summon very specifically like 8-headed dragon. Well, snake dragon, called the Yamato no Orochi.
Oh.
These are, if they're based on any dragon, it's the sweet of you.
Huh. Even then, LeBron James is not actually voiced by LeBron James.
Get out of your fucking high horse and voice me, you fucking bitch.
But the Rick and Morty characters are voiced by the original voice actor.
Makes sense.
Yeah. There's also a profanity filter, so Rich didn't say shit in the game. It's a T-rated game, and there's a profanity filter for more characters for mature audiences. For more mature shows, you know. Subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Wonder how he's gonna feel about that.
It's gonna be funny. Just to see characters swearing next to Steven Universe.
Kevin, like, basically, Kevin agrees with me that, like, the fact that they're taking the Shaggy meat to its, like, largest extent is amazing.
Yeah. They canonized it by saying in his bio, he just found a piece of rock, a magical crystal, he thought it was rock candy, and he ate it. And then the next day he woke up with powers.
Sounds like Shaggy.
Yeah. Huh. Apparently one of the characters that's been data mined is a third-party character, which is some character from Stranger Things, which is owned by Netflix. So if that character gets announced, that's gonna really open the floodgates.
Probably 11.
Yeah, it is 11, because there's another voice line from another data mine character that specifically mentions, like, crushing soda cans with psychic powers. Huh. That character is Raven from DC Comics. Hopefully the O3 version.
Yeah, hopefully O3. Because I swear if it's Teen Titans Go, I'm the fucking riot.
Yeah. Moving on. Moving on.
Well, yeah. Ben 10 for multiverses.
You said that last time. But okay.
I have to help out with the ink thing on that.
Sure.
Now I gotta use my social media presence for anything.
He was one of the characters at the original leaker. He came back and said, yeah, he's on the way. Along with Daffy Duck in his Duck Dodgers form, Powerpuff Girls, Animaniacs, and Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
I want to recreate that scene from that Mortal Kombat movie.
Get over here.
No, like where like fucking Shaggy takes it.
Yeah. Perfect. That game's gonna be true meme potential. Seeing what's the cheapest. This one. Okay, Star Wars Jedi Survivor looks to be launching in March 2023. Same month the eShop closes. Woo.
Hello.
Hi.
Do you want Mario?
3D World?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, cool, because I'm still playing it.
Okay. What else is cheaper? Yes. I'll say this one. EA is apparently working on a single-player Black Panther open-world game. Take that as you will. I mean, hey, at least it's not Square Enix. But
We will get to Square in a bit. But I mean, if it isn't brought up here, I'll get to it.
Nier Automata apparently has a secret area that only one player can access.
Yeah, that was
And everyone's flipping out.
I don't know. We don't know how he did it, but he did. Saw on Twitter.
Yeah. Knights of the Old Republic remake has been delayed indefinitely due to development issues. It's like the art director got fired.
They were also the lead writer.
Yeah.
It's a good thing they got fired, though.
Yeah.
Apparently, they straight up hated the original.
Huh. Well, that's a bad sign.
Fucking typical, am I right?
Yeah. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 and Yakuza Like a Dragon will be free on PlayStation this month.
Oh!
Starting tomorrow. Fun.
Those are really good. Kevin will be happy.
Starting Tuesday. Minecraft continues to cross over with every piece of media known to man as it's got a SpongeBob crossover. Still only a matter of time until the,
Hey, look! There's the 2 degrees of separation. Smash Brothers, Steve, SpongeBob, multiverses.
Wait a minute. Perfect. Watch Nickelodeon just give up on Nick All-Star and license SpongeBob to Warner Brothers for multiverses. That'd be funny. It would also be a Nickelodeon Cartoon Network crossover, which would be cool.
Haven't had one of those since,
Shh,
we should be here!
That one commercial. We have a Cartoon Network Adult Swim crossover now, which is weird to think about.
We've had that with Pibby.
Did we? Oh. Well,
Remember?
I'll shut up now.
And we've had one even longer if we count Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
I guess.
And Harvey Birdman.
Yeah.
Because the Hanna-Barbera shows that were on there were originally showing on Cartoon Network during its original lifespan.
Yeah. GTA 6 will reportedly feature a female protagonist and be set in Vice City, with more cities added over time. And later reports said it will be less, quote-unquote, offensive than its predecessors.
Yeah, that's a sign that game's worthless.
GTA prides itself on pissing off as many people as possible. Why tone it down?
It doesn't work as a scathing critique of the American populace if it doesn't go out of its way to offend everybody.
Yeah.
Lowering it down actively makes the game worth less.
Yeah. The oddest PlayStation Plus games were officially announced. In addition, both games were confirmed to be legit, in addition to Little Nightmares. And it was also been announced that the entire Yakuza series is coming to the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium tiers. The entire series. Except 7. Sony is testing out 1440p support on PS5 and folders, along with some new social features. Ugh. So there's that. Switch took 5 years to get folders, so I don't know what else to say on that topic. Former devs of The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk have formed a new studio called Dark Passenger.
Probably the ones who got sick and tired of working with Project Red after they're fucked up like that.
Yeah. It's called Dark Passenger. Huh.
I wonder what character outside of Nato I have like the highest bond with. You know, and the horse. The horse does not count.
Probably Mukuro. I would have to check when we get to the end. Alright. PlayStation is doing an official...
The reason the horse does not count is because it wasn't in the original game.
Yeah.
So...
PlayStation is getting an officially licensed iPhone controller.
What?
Oh, all three. The Dark Lord forced monsters to build this tower. He wanted a place in the sky to which to look down upon Miitopia.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Place in the sky? Yes, high up in a place called Otherworld. I believe you'll find the Dark Lord up there, in Otherworld. And this here is the way in. Let's get going then.
This is a trap.
I can't go with you. The place is cursed. No normal person can survive there for long. You'll have to leave me behind, I'm afraid.
Oh no, what a shame.
Well, take care then, and thank you. No, thank you. Please, you must defeat the Dark Lord. Dark Lord Papyrus left your party. Alright. We'll get to the next world in the next episode. Where we beat the game. Woo.
Hopefully.
It's the last world.